Okay, so at the very least, I can honestly say today's anime gets the award for being the thinking man's action anime of 2014. A honor that goes mostly to anime that have thought put into it. Trust me, that's rarer than you think. Cue title scene. Terror in Resonance is a 2014 thriller anime that, well, you kind of probably have already heard of, but I will recap the plot. Basically, the plot revolves around these two boys called 9 and 12. And basically, these two multiples of 3 are blowing up buildings in Tokyo. Fun stuff. They're under the codename of Sphinx. And what separates these terrorists apart is that before doing their acts of terror, they will send in clues to the police. Clues! Complicated, confusing, and take up the better part of each episode. But not unsolvable or even too out of the realm of plausibility. And that is where things get ingenious, because upon setting up these riddles, they then use that as a way to evacuate the buildings before blowing up. Basically meaning that nobody dies. That's right. They do all these terrible, destructive things, and I think Yu-Gi-Oh! Zale has a higher final death count than this show. And the thing is that that's one of the reasons that separates this from other anime about terrorists. Now here's the thing. The concept of the anti-hero causing destruction is nothing new. And the thing is that what, in my opinion, apart from that other thing, that truly separates this anime from those is that we actually get to see our characters do what they're doing for once. Normally in animes like this, we usually just spend a lot of time with the characters explaining what they did, just giving exposition after the event happens, and I never truly get into what they're doing because, well, anyone can talk a big game, but actually show me what you're doing. This anime does that, and that's really what I liked about it, was that we saw our characters plan everything out. We saw them build things. We saw them make things and put them into fruition. In fact, I'd say more effort was put into showing the build-up than the actual event, which is ingenious because obviously the event only takes a couple of seconds. So because of this, you're immediately in. And the other thing I'm not going to lie is, even knowing all that, I also know the problems that tend to come with anti-hero based animes. So because of this, I wasn't really expecting any big moral or in big sort of lesson learned type series. I wasn't expecting anything too thought-provoking. Even though a lot of people have said this series is, I respectfully disagree, I was just hoping for a fun ride overall. And you know what? That is what I got. This series is awesome. It's action-packed, it's intense, you feel the emotion, you connect and care for every character in this. And that alone just makes the series such a fun freaking ride, and it just makes it such an entertaining anime. And a lot of that does have to do with our characters. 9 and 12 are both very interesting characters to watch. Apart from, like I said, being able to actually see them do smart things, you also really come to get interested in them and like them for who they are. I won't spoil where they come from or their backstory, seeing as it does make up a big part of the series, but the thing is that you do buy it and you do sympathize with these characters, and they're just so fun to watch. You know they're never going to kill anyone or do anything too horrible, so you're okay with just following them as they do their things. Even though realistically, how they manage it is a little convoluted. And the thing is that part of the reason that works so well is because there's a female character in here. That's right, people, a lady. A young girl named Lisa, who many people kinda hate, and I admit I can sort of see why. She's not very useful, she doesn't contribute to the overall plot that much, but she serves a very important purpose. You see, she is the everyday girl. I mean, she's got a backstory, and there is a character there that seems to be very interesting, but because she is so normal, she allows for us, the viewer, to basically sort of get into this plot through her and her eyes. You basically get to go through these characters with her as she goes from being afraid of them, to being curious about them, to liking them, back to curious, and all those other emotions. This really allows us to see things through a very normal, open-world perspective, instead of just, hey everybody, welcome to Big Boom half an hour for a week. And the thing is that also helps with our main cop, Shibazaki, who I admit is sort of your typical cliche cop character. Nothing really too new there either. But the thing is, he's still cool to watch, and you still really connected with him, and like the other two, you wanted him to succeed. Which really puts you on the journey for this show, as you're just wanting every side to win, but you can't, so you gotta keep watching to see who wins, and how they win, and what's gonna happen, and it makes this series so freaking awesome to watch. Unfortunately, there are a couple problems. First up, like I said, the characters are kinda cliche. 9 and 12 are interesting to watch, but they really aren't that different from Light Yagami or Lelouch. And the thing is that I also felt like maybe they could have been characterized a bit more. I never felt 12 got that much focus, and 9 I thought was really sort of, yeah. The other big problem is I thought Lisa, though used effectively for her role, could have actually done something a bit more. We could have at least seen her plot point get resolved in a way that made sense. But overall, beggars can't be choosers, and it was still worth watching. The other thing I was bugged with was the animation. And like with, say, Beyond the Boundary, it was done to serve a very specific purpose. They wanted the series to look realistic to get you very closely into it. And even though, yeah, that worked, it didn't leave it very memorable. It's fine. It also does this really annoying thing where it feels like it almost changes color palettes halfway through. I swear, I think there was literally a scene where someone's skin tone changed for just no reason. I'm sure it's artsy and it means something to somebody, but to me, it just kind of looks like they couldn't make up their minds on how they wanted the palette to look. Also, the score is amazing. Wasn't a big fan of the opening or ending, but the sheer background music just sets up such a great modern realistic story and just brings it all together so well and so sensible that there is only one way to say it. Terror in Resonance is an 8 out of 10 on the action scale. Now the thing is that, again, there's, other than the things I mentioned, nothing that really does shine out too much about this anime. It is very smart and a lot of effort put into it, but it's a fun ride. You're not watching this to really get that into the characters. You're not watching to really see the story go anywhere. You're just watching everything go, ooh, ooh, ooh. And that is the point, and it does that perfectly. But what did you think perfectly? In the comments section below, tell me what you thought of Terror in Resonance, your favorite, like, hype anime. And as always, click to like and click to subscribe, because as I'm in the Northeast, if this blizzard ever ends, I will be back to do more stuff.